We see a boy doing parkour on the rooftop of a building and think that if it continues like this, she will overtake him. Then the lady jumps over him and goes ahead. Seeing this, he starts running after her. But when he jumps on the other building, his foot slips and he is about to fall down. But she holds his hand and says, "Careful, little one. I am sure I don't have to tell you, falling to your death means you lose." He laughs and takes support of the wall and does a backflip and runs away from there, thinking that she got caught in my trap. Then he jumps from one building to another and reaches his home and starts jumping with joy and says, "I won! I won!" But as soon as he opens the door of the house, he gets a punch on his stomach, and it is the same lady whom he had tricked a while ago. He asks her that you were far behind, then how did you reach home before me? She says, "Guess we both have trick up our sleeves." Then he starts counting by adding hot water to the cup noodles. Then a slipper comes flying towards him, but he dodges it and starts laughing. But he forgets that his mother has two slippers. So the second slipper hits him right on the face. And this lady is our protagonist's mom. She says to him, "How many times have I told you to always wash your hands before eating food?" He says, "Okay, I am going." After eating food, they both start watching news on TV. The news shows a man getting violent rage, and the police kept trying to calm him down for a long time. But the man attacks the police, after which the camera is turned off, and the news reporter consoled that everything is under control. Mom turns off the TV. The boy says, "Why did you turn off the TV?" I wanted to know what happened to him and why his eyes were like that. Mom says, "You see what happens when you do drugs." The boy says, "I know, and maybe you are forgetting that I'm only 13 years old. I am not even allowed to drink alcohol." Mom says, "By the way, what you did today on the roof was amazing, and you are getting better and smarter day by day. It is not always necessary to be the fastest or strongest to win." Boy says, "It is easy for you to say, why does it matter? I still lost. You are very fast, but one day I will beat you." Mom says that's the spirit. Never accept defeat. Boy asks to his mom, "By the way, why do we always do this random training course?" "We have been doing this training for a long time." Mom says, "So that you can gain strong courage." The boy pulls up his hoodie and says, "I am looking quite strong." Then his mother hits him on the stomach with her elbow and says, "Are you sure about that?" The boy seriously asks his mother what all this training and moving around so often is for. "I haven't met any of my family members. We rarely go out." Mother says it's not so easy to explain, that one day we will talk about it later. The boy says, "Mom, you have been saying the same thing for 5 years, and you haven't told me anything yet. My only friend is Chonky, and he just eats and sleeps." Hearing this, the dog gets angry. Mom thinks that this is probably the effect of puberty, and that is why he is behaving like this. The boy says, "Many years have passed, but I don't know who I am, where I am from, and I have never seen a picture of my father." Mom looks at him and says, "The time hasn't come yet. One day you will know the reason behind this. Right now, all you need to know is that your father is the greatest man I have ever known." Then his mother tells him to take Chonky for his daily walk, and when you comes back home, collect your birthday gift from the depot station locker, which must have arrived today. And when you come back home, I will tell you few things about your father. While cycling, Yu tells Chonky that you have become fat. You have to give up snacks. You can barely keep up. Chonky is tired. Then Yu stops in front of a shop and says that a new volume was supposed to come today. Then he looks inside the shop through the window and says that maybe I will have to wait for one more week. The shopkeeper looks at him and says, "Has the kid come again?" Then he looks at the shop next to him. And on TV, a news reporter is asking questions. Could drugs be behind all this? The news anchor says that reports of several violent attacks in Japan have shaken the entire country. People who are claimed to be missing have been found speaking in unknown languages and attacking randomly. And people in those areas claim to have witnessed unusual sights at night. Whether it is true or false, the rise in missing persons cases and violent attacks cannot be ignored any longer. Yu thinks that missing people shown up attacking others. A reporter quoted the witness as saying, "I was walking home after my second date that day, and something fell near me. I looked up and I swear I saw a man in the sky." The news anchor said that the footage was provided by the man from his phone. It is not clear what it is, but there is something in the sky. Another news anchor says that many news outlets are blaming this discrepancy on a new drug called white pepper, which is becoming increasingly popular. Yu thinks mother said we came here because it is safe, but seeing the condition here, it doesn't seem so. A small boy stands behind you holding a balloon, but the balloon slips from his hand and he runs onto the road to catch his balloon, and a car is coming towards him at a very high speed. Seeing this, Yu throws his bike towards the car, causing the car to lose its balance, and he goes fast and saves the little boy. The little boy's mother comes to him crying and asks him, "Are you okay?" The shopkeeper is shocked to see this incident. When you look at his broken bike and think that I hope mother will believe my story, otherwise she will kill me for this, because his bike is now destroyed. So he takes a shortcut to the depot station and wonders what could this today get any worse. On the way, he sees a tunnel, and Chonky starts barking at something unknown. You ask Chonky, "What are you seeing there that you are barking at?" Then a voice of someone asking for help comes from the tunnel. Then we are shown that a man is dragging a woman into the tunnel, and the woman is shouting, "Someone please help me." Yu jumps off the bridge and walks toward the tunnel thinking, "This is a bad idea, but I have to do something. This place is creepy." He takes out his phone to call the police, but there is no signal in that area. Then he sees a man standing with his face toward the wall. He asks him, "Are you okay?" The man keeps repeating the same thing over and over again, that he is mine, and starts rubbing his nails on the wall. And when he looks up, he sees a man floating in the air, and he is also repeating the same thing, that he is mine. Seeing this, he gets scared and starts running away from there and wonders what the hell is that. Then a woman appears in front of him, and he tells her that you should run away from here. This place is not safe. Then he finds that the woman is also a monster. Then we are then shown a scene at home where the mother is decorating the house to celebrate Yu's birthday and thinking that I do the same decorations every year. Maybe he won't notice. After placing the cake on the table, Mom says everything is ready. You should have arrived by now. Then someone starts knocking on the gate. Mom opens the door and sees that Chonky is standing alone outside. Seeing him, Mother asks him, "Why have you come home alone? Where is boy?" Scene shifts and we are shown the scene inside the tunnel, where Demon Lady tells you that you fell into my trap. He gets scared and says you are not a human being. Go away from me. He is about to move back when his foot falls on a bottle and he falls down and his phone also falls from his hand. He quickly goes and picks up his phone, because without light he will not be able to see anything. And as soon as he picks up the phone and looks back, the lady has disappeared from there. He thinks that I have to get out of here quickly. Then two demons come running after him. Seeing them, he gets scared and picks up a bottle lying nearby and throws it towards them, due to which one demon falls down. But the demon gets back up again, and it seems as if the attack had no effect on it. He runs away in fear and thinks that it was just a nightmare. He is about to get out, but then the demon lady punches him in the face, causing him to hit the wall. She laughs and tells him, "You are not going anywhere." Boy asks in a scared voice, "Why are you doing this to me?" She picks him up and slams him against the wall and tells him, "First I will torture you a bit, and when you bleed, that is the moment you will realize that you are unable to protect yourself." Hearing this, he gets very scared and starts dragging himself forward. Seeing this, the lady tells him, "So you can still move." She takes out her claws and attacks his waist and says, "You think you can still get out of here? You are delusional, boy. You will not get out of here alive." He starts crying in pain, and seeing this, the demons start laughing at him. He thinks that I cannot die here like this. I have not even met my father yet. The demon lady is about to attack him again, but then boy's mom comes running and cuts off the heads of two demons. Seeing this, the demon lady was a little surprised. Then mom attacks directly to the demon lady and says, "Stay away from my son." But she dodges and steps back a little. Boy now starts fainting, due to which his mom starts worrying about him. The demon lady asks the mom, "How did you cut the heads of those two demons? Are you a human being?" Then they tell us about the level of demons, that the demons of the third hell do not have that level of consciousness or ability, unless it was given to you by a high-ranking hell demon. Mom charges her attack and says that you will die here today. The demonic lady attacks the mom and saying, "After I consume your soul, your body will be my new vessel." But she saves herself from her attack and takes her son away from there and makes him sit at a safe place and tells the demon lady that unfortunately I cannot save you because now you are a third-level demon. The monster comes to attack the mom again. She turns around and kicks her very hard in the stomach, causing her flying into the air and crashing into the wall. The demon woman asks her, "Are you one of those people called Crimson?" Then Mom holds her head and lifts her up and says, "I can't save you, but you should not have attacked my son." Then Mom starts destroying his soul from her body, due to which blue light starts coming out of her body, and it looked like she was in a lot of pain. Yun was watching all this in an unconscious state. After removing the soul, the demon lady's body shrinks. Then Mom takes Yun on her back and runs out of there, thinking that maybe now is the right time to tell him the truth. After some time, a portal opens in that area from which a high-ranked demon comes out and says that, "Who is powerful enough to kill second and third level demons?" Then he sees a phone lying nearby. He picks it up and licks the blood on it and says, "This is juvenile blood." And as soon as he opens the phone screen, he is shocked to see the photo of the mother and son, and laughing loudly says, "These two are still alive. The key will be mine." The scene shifts and we are shown a scene in the house. Yun slowly regains consciousness, and as he sits up, he starts experiencing severe pain in his back. Then Mom throws a bag towards him and says, "Pack whatever you need. We are leaving from here." Yun asks his mom, "Why don't you tell me what is going on? Why were your hands glowing at that time? And who was that woman?" Then he starts getting severe pain in his ribs. Mom takes out her box from the drawer in which her weapons are kept, and Yun keeps asking the same question again and again. Then she looks angrily at him and throws a kunai towards him. Seeing this, he gets a little scared. But those kunais hits the dark soul standing behind him. Yun starts to have a strange feeling behind him in which he feels sadness, loneliness, and anger. Then Mom throws a kunai towards him and says, "Pay attention to my voice. All of them are first-class demons who are trying to possess you." Then he runs away from there and hides behind his mom and says, "What are you saying, Mom? I can't see any demon there." Then Mom explains to him that I had kept your powers locked for 13 years. Now the right time has come for you to awaken your power. She activates her power on her finger and hits his forehead, due to which Yun starts feeling a lot of pain. She advises him to close his eyes and focus and keep your mind clear, as long as your heart is beating loudly. And when he opens his eyes, he can see the demons of hell. Then his mother takes out her sword and attacks them directly and cuts them. He is shocked to see this. Mom explains to Yun that there are many things that I did not tell you because you were not ready yet. He asks, "What are you talking about? What was I not ready for? And where did you get this glowing blade? And how are you so calm? Why are you not scared?" Mom tells him that all of them are first-class demons. Now a lot of first-class demons start coming towards their house and start possessing some people. After gaining complete control over human's body, they all attack his house. The monster climbs the wall of the house, breaks the glass, and comes inside. Seeing all this, Yun shouts that they look like the same freak from the tunnel. Why are they still after us? He starts running away from there out of fear, but Mom is telling him not to go out. There is a lot of danger outside, but he ignores her words and goes outside. And when he reaches the balcony and looks around, he sees that many demons are coming towards him to attack. He gets shocked seeing this. Then the doggy catches his t-shirt and brings him back to his senses. After regaining consciousness, he runs back to the room, and after reaching there, he asks his mom, "Are you okay? And I am sorry I did not listen to you." But he gets shocked to see that Mom has killed all the demons there. Mom is explaining to him that all of them are not dead. They are just unconscious, but then a demon attacks Yun. Then she activates her secret ninja art and throws a blade towards them, which goes through the heads of all the demons and comes back to Mom. Then she tells him that next time when I tell you to stay behind me, then listen to me, and now you don't be afraid. Come and stand with me. Mom starts writing something on the floor with his sword, due to which a barrier is formed around him, and many demons start coming towards him, but none of them are able to break the barrier. Yun asks Mom if this barrier will be able to stop these demons. Mom says, "Yes, this is enough, but now I am slowly losing my power, but I am not able to understand who is the one. Who is possessing these innocent people?" As the barrier is repeatedly attacked by monsters, it begins to break down. Mom tells Yun, "I thought I had more time to prepare what I was going to tell you on the night of your birth 13 years ago. I had to fake that death and then flee my home, the Crimson Star Empire. I left behind everything I love. Then there is an explosion in the building, due to which all the monsters die. After the dust clears, we find out that both Mom and Yun are safe. Mom looks up and says, "What have you done? Now we will not be able to save them." The high-ranking devil says, You look amazing for a dead person, and I think this is the one who survived and grew up. You look exactly like him. I will take the key from your blood, which will be used to break the seal. Yoon gets scared and asks, "What do you mean by the key seal?" The mother tells him that it is a demon from the sixth hell who is the most powerful demon of his kind, and he has come to kill you. Yoon says that if that is the case, then we are probably going to die. Mom tells him that as long as I am alive, no one can touch you, and then she activates her barrier. Demon charges his attack in saying that creating such a large barrier will drain whatever little power you have left. Humans make such irrational moves when faced with an inevitable situation. Due to the demon's attack being so powerful, it breaks the barrier. So to block this attack, Mom activates her secret ninja art Infinity Moonslash. Seeing this, the demon is surprised. Mom starts gathering all her power, due to which blades appear all around her. Seeing this, Yoon asks Mom, "How are you able to do all this?" Mom shouts at the demon and says, "All my blade will pierce you, and you can't even lay a hand on my son." She throws all her blades on demon, due to which there is a huge explosion. Seeing this, she says that maybe this attack will buy us some time. But after the dust removed, demon is not there because he is already behind Yoon. Seeing this, Mom hits the ground with a powerful punch. The punch was so powerful that both the demon and Yoon fly into the air. But Mom uses her power to send all her swords towards him and saves him by creating a shield. And as soon as he stands up and looks back, the demon is running towards him. Mom uses her swords to create a wall between them, causing demon to scream and say, "You know you can't kill me, so why are you resisting?" Then Mom starts attacking him, using all her blades, due to which there are explosions all around. Demon runs from her attack and analyzing that all the blade is slowing down. She is barely able to stand. He turns back and goes straight to the mom and says, "I will free your son from all suffering." Hearing this, she says, "As long as I am alive, you cannot even touch my son." She attacks the demon with her sword, but he blocks that attack and opens a portal using his power and stabs his hand in Mom's chest and says, "I have fulfilled your wish to die." This attack is so deadly that it makes Mom start screaming in pain. Seeing this, Yoon starts crying loudly. After stabbing Yoon's mom, the demon pulled out his hand, and holding her neck, the demon told her that all your efforts wasted. Seeing his mom in pain, he cries and says, "Leave my mother, you devil." Then Yoon throws a stone towards the demon, saying, "I swear if you hurt her, I will kill you." The demon easily reflects the boy's attack. Seeing the boy helpless, demon, laughing demonically, and tells him that the weak cannot give orders. The one who stands at the top controls the wheel of fate, while the weak stare, powerless to change their faith. The demon opens a portal near Yoon, and Mom says him to run away, but he refuses. Hearing this, Mom uses her power to send her magical swords towards him and tells him that this is an order, Yoon. The demon tries to grab the boy, but Mom's magic sword comes close to him and sticks to his clothes and starts to carry him away from there. Seeing the boy go away, the demon tries to attack him, but Mom grabs his hand and uses her legs to lock the demon's waist so that he can't get away from her. Demon tries to push her away with his other hand, but she summons her swords and stabs him into his hands, and due to which he screams in pain. Yoon goes flying and crashing into a tree, due to which he falls down. He gets up and thinks why this is happening and runs towards his mom saying, "Please don't leave me. I will go whatever you go, even in death. You are the only one I have." The demon tightens his grip on her neck and tells her that you are weaker than me. So the logical thing to do is to stop resisting and hand over the key willingly. But then he sees red symbols around him. Seeing this, he understands that these are symbols of death pact. He remembers that those blades were not targeted at him. She was just carving the symbols. The demon shouts at her and tells her that this attack won't be able to kill me. Then why are you sacrificing yourself? Mom looks at him, terrifying way that even the demon gets scared. Yoon is about to reach his mom, but suddenly there is an explosion in that area. And Mom, while crying, tells him her last words that, "My son, you will be fine. But now the time has come for me to give you back to the world. Thank you for the last 13 years. You have filled such a big hole in my heart." Seeing all this, Yoon starts crying because an important person has gone from his life. Now scene shifts to Yoon's home, where he heard his mother voice who was wishing him birthday. Yoon find out that her mother has planned a surprise birthday party for him. Yoon liked the cake and thanks his mom, asking her, when did she plan all this? Yoon's mother asks him to make a wish before blowing the candles. As Yoon blows the candles, he suddenly finds himself alone sitting on a chair with darkness around him. He saw her mother lying next to him. Yoon asked her mom what's going on. "Who did this to you? You were just talking to me." And he shivers. All of a sudden, Yoon heard same demonic laugh coming from behind. He starts running away from the voice, while saying, "That voice, I have heard it before. It was you." He goes into a room and locks himself inside it, shivers continuously and cries out of fear. Demon continuously keep knocking the door and says, "She is dead because of you. I will always find you. You're key to my destiny." Yoon gets scared. Demon speaks again. "The longer you hide, the more lives I'll take. Your mother was first casualty. Everyone you care about will suffer," and Demon laugh. Demon breaks the door with his hand and grabs Yoon by his neck. Yoon gaps and woke up, finding himself at a strange place. It was a dream, Yoon says to himself, and the impact of explosion must have knocked out me. Yoon starts running towards the incident site, telling himself that her mother may have survived by using some kind of magic barrier. Yoon saw news reporters, police, and some local crowd at the incident site. Yoon find out that his house was completely demolished. Police sealed off the area completely. Yoon asked himself for how long he was unconscious. He need to sneak inside and find out about his mother. While thinking all this, a police officer tapped on his shoulder and said, "Kid, you're not supposed to be here. This is a crime scene." Yoon looked up and replied to officer, "This is my home, and a demon is responsible for all this fuss, and I need to know about my mother." Officer looks at Yoon and said in consoling voice, "Nobody could have survived an explosion of that magnitude. We need to record your statement once you've been seen by a medic." After listening this, Yoon starts running away from there, saying, "This is not real. How could she died?" Yoon bumps into a stranger while he was running. Both looks towards each other. Yoon says sorry and flee away. In next scene, we saw it's raining, and Yoon is sitting on the street. Yoon talking to himself, "Is Demon still alive? Or is he still there searching for me? This is his punishment for being selfish. If he had sacrificed his life, all those people must be alive." Yoon blames himself for his mother's death, cries and begs for his death. A dog came to Yoon and starts barking. Yoon look up and find out that it was Chonky. Yoon says, "You're alive. How did you survive? I thought you were gone too. It was my fault she is gone," and hugged Chonky. Now scene shifts to the home of an old man. We were shown that an old man coming out from the washroom talking to himself about the noise due to explosion and felt that it was an earthquake. Old man looked through the window to find out what is happening because he was struggling to sleep due to noise. He saw Yoon walking with his dog. He recognizes Yoon that he was the same kid who came to his shop every week and stare inside through the window. Old man thinks that, what is he doing in the middle of the night at the streets? Yoon was talking to himself in a consoling way that, "I don't believe that my mom is dead, but this is the harsh reality. Chonky is the only family member I have, and how do I survive now without money?" Yoon suddenly stopped and thought maybe he can go police officers and explain everything to them, and they might believe him, that how his mother has sacrificed his life to save him. Yoon thinks who is going to believe him about the demon. It sounds crazy just by saying. While Yoon was thinking all this, he hears a voice. "Hey kid!" Yoon shockingly turned around and saw an old man is standing at door of a shop which he used to visit. Old man says, "I know you, kid. What are you doing at this time? Shouldn't you be at your home?" Old man asked him to come inside. In next scene, we saw Yoon is sitting in front of old man and eating something given by the oldie. While eating, he told him his story. After listening to Yoon, old man says, "So that loud noise was an explosion. Sorry to hear about you, mother." He asked Yoon, "Weren't you caught in the explosion?" Yoon replied, "I don't know. How I'm still alive, all I know is that my mother sacrificed her life to save me." Oldman asks him about his other family members. Yoon replies, "I am not aware of any family. It's always me and my mother." After listening to Yoon, oldie speaks, "Everyone has family, kid." Yoon tell him that I have a dad but don't know how to find him. Never seen his face. Oldman consoles him and said, "Family is family. One day you'll find your dad. Now get some rest." Old man take Yoon to his daughter's room who was not there and ask him to take some rest. Boy thank him for being kind to him. Next morning when Yoon hear Chonky's barking voice, he woke up and runs fiercely towards the voice. He saw the old man has piece of cloth in his hand. who is asking Dog to clam down. Chonky was sitting in a corner due to fear. Yoon asked to Oldie, "What happened?" Oldie replied, "I was trying to clean him up, but he got scared." Yoon takes a breath of relief and said, "I thought that something bad happened to Chonky." Chonky runs to Yoon. Boy kneel and embrace Chonky and starts cuddling. After watching their affection, Oldman says, "He's very close to you," and asks Yoon, "Did you get some sleep?" Boy noted and thanks him for his hospitality and asks his permission to leave. Old man asks him, "How will you manage without your parents? Do you have any plans? What to do next?" Yoon replied, "I don't know. Probably I will look for a shelter home." After hearing this from Yoon, Oldie suggests him a place to try for. Yoon agreed with the old man's suggestion in a confused way. They move out from the house. Outside, they found that everyone is talking about explosion. Yoon sees that Oldman has brought him to the police station. Oldman says these guys can help, but Yoon afraid to go inside the station and thinks that these people will think him crazy if he tell them the truth. Oldie asks Yoon to give cops at least a try. Inside the police station, we are shown a police officer sitting at his desk reading a newspaper. Yoon greets by saying, "Good morning." Officer responds asking, "How can I help you?" Yoon starts speaking with a fake smile on his face. "Sir, I need to find any information about my dad or any family members." Officer interrupts Yoon and says, "For how long you have not seen your father?" Yoon replies, "My mother never told me much about him." Officer asks him to give him a name so that he can at least find something. Boy answers him, "My name is Kensaku Yoon." While all this was happening, the old man was standing outside smoking and listening to them. The officer finds something on his computer and says, "I have found a name, Anako Kensaku. Have you heard of it? There is nobody else related to this name." Hearing this, Yoon thinks that, "Wouldn't I have the same name as my father? I can't be one with the name Kensaku." Officer asks him about his mother. Yoon replied with sorrow, "I lost her yesterday." Officer asks Yoon, "So, you've nowhere go, and you are also a minor." Officer advised him to go to the social services if you don't have a legal guardian. After hearing to the cop, Yoon got scared and thought if he is given to social services, what's going to happen to Chonky? While this was happening, the old man enters in scene and tell the cop that Yoon lives with him. They just wanted to know about his family members. The officer stared at the old man and asked him about his relationship with the kid. Oldie replied, "I am just an old friend of his family." Yoon nodded in yes. The old man looked at the boy and asked, "Let's go now." Both of them thanked the police officer for his help and started walking out of the police station. In next scene, Oldie asked Yoon to come with him. Who is going to his shop? Yoon asks Oldie, "Is this okay for you?" Old man says, "Of course. After losing your mom, you have no place to go. Since I have a spare room, you can stay there until you find your family. But you have to help me in my shop." Yoon happily accepted his offer, hugged Oldie with joy, and thanked him for being kind to him. Oldie says with a smile on his face, "Please don't squeeze me. I got back the issue," and asks Yoon about his age. Yoon tell him that last night he turned 14. The old man put his hand on Yoon's shoulder and wishes him birthday and says, "Son, let's go to home now." After losing his mother, Yoon starts to live with the old man and also help him with his shop. Both enjoy each other's company and always eat together. Yoon used to manage his old man's stock of books at his shop and also clean old man's shop. Together they formed a family-like bond. Often go for grocery shopping together. Yoon used to play with Chonky in his spare time. During all this, Yoon always have a trauma of demon and used to gather information about existence devils and demons. Yoon work out every day, run daily with Chonky. He wants to gain some powers and strength so that he can take revenge for his mother's death whenever he faces the demon and been able to change his fate, which is destroyed by the demon. Months passed in all this. One day, Yoon with Chonky goes to that place where explosion was happened and he lost his mother. He saw that the entire place was barricaded with wires and an entry prohibition board was also put up there. Yoon with sadness tell himself that it's all cleared from here and kept looking inside the barricading. All of a sudden, Yoon heard a voice. "Do you often come here?" Yoon turns and sees that his oldie was there. Oldman asks Yoon, "So this is where you used to live?" Yoon looked at oldie and replied, "Yes, this was my home. This was the last place where I saw her alive. I miss my mom every day. It's not easy to forget her." Oldman tried to console him by saying, "I can understand. It took me years to get over my wife's death." Yoon speaks again and says all those innocent lives were lost that night, and authorities won't be able to caught the culprit. Old man, what if I tell you that it was not a person, but a thing that did all this? Oldie looks at Yun in surprise. Yun kept on talking that the explosion was caused by things I didn't believe could exist. They came here for me to kill me, but my mom did everything to save me. I know that demonic thing is still out there to kill me, and I should be ready for him. After hearing this from Yun, Oldman stares him in a shocking way and says, "Oh, I get it now, demon." As in a metaphor, right? Demon or real, Yun replied. Oldman smiles, thinking Yun is making up his own story, and asks Yun to go back home with him. Yun doesn't want to go home. He wants time to walk his dog, so he asks the old man. Oldman waved his hand and says, "Be careful," and walks alone back to his home. After Oldman leaves, Yun thinks that he doesn't believe him, but it's also doesn't matter anymore. Yun tells Chonky that let's go for another walk. After hearing this from Yun, Chonky grunts. Then Yun hears a voice coming from behind him and realizes that it is the voice of the demon who was saying, "What's up, kid?" Yun's face turns pale with fear, and he slowly turns back. He found himself alone on the street with his dog and a cat who was growling at them. Chonky barks. Seeing this, Yun feels relieved. He says to himself that it's just a cat. Because of the research I'm doing on the demons, I'm seeing things. But I also can't belie the reality that how I lost my mother, I need to find some answers. In next scene, we saw Yun is working out and doing handstand push-ups. After his workout, Yun pants and wipes his sweat. When Yun was doing all this, Oldie came to him and asked that if he can open the shop himself tomorrow, while he need to revisit his doctor for the routine checkup. The boy nodded in yes. Seeing Yun's chiseled and ripped body, Oldie asked, "Do you work out regularly or are preparing to fight any kind of demon?" Yun smiles and asks Oldie that he can also join him sometime in his workout. Oldman replies, "I would love to, but maybe next time," and walks back to his room. Both says goodnight to each other. Yun waited for Oldman to leave. When he finds himself alone, he pulls his drawer and takes out some clothes. He wore those clothes, gloves, knee protectors, and put a baseball bat in his bag. After getting ready, Yun looks at his wall where he has stuck some notes about his research on demons. Yun tells himself that for months I have been collecting this information. The news isn't reporting truth for some reasons. I have had to resort to dark web to find what attacked me in the tunnel that night. Yun knows that people won't believe him about demons, but he wants to find the reason behind the death of innocents so that he can get rid of the demons for good. He wants to be left alone in his quest because he doesn't want to lose any more lives. Yun silently gets out of his room and checked on the old man to see if he was asleep or not. He heard snoring of Oldie and move away from his room. As Yun was going down the stairs, he noticed Chonky was awake. Chonky starts barking at Yun. Yun tried shush the dog and says, "Please don't wake the old man." He gave a bone to the dog to calm him down. Chonky sat down and starts eating the bone. Yun sneaks out of the home and closes to main door silently. After leaving his home, Yun starts to run, telling himself that this time he is ready. If he is the key, then he would lock away the demon forever. In next scene, we saw Yun has climbed up to a building of that area where demonic cases were occurred. Yun sat down quietly at the edge of the roof and starts noticing any unusual activities happening down on the streets. He has a feeling that this place is somehow related to the demon. After waiting for hours, Yun did not find anything unusual. Yun looks at his hand and wonders for how long he'll have to work out before he can do magical things like his mom. Suddenly, Yun saw a teenage boy of his age walking on the road, which makes him to think that why he was alone at this time of the night. Yun finds it suspicious. The suspicious boy jumped over the barricades on which a no-entry board was also situated and walks into an empty building. Yun was observing his activities and wonders that why would anyone enter an abandoned building at night. Yun thought that this boy need to be followed, so he jumps off the roof to a nearby tree and from tree to ground and runs towards the building. The first thing Yun noticed inside the building was that it was in a very bad condition. Yun searches for the boy and walks stealthily. Suddenly, Yun starts feeling cold and nervous. Because of all these things, his doubt turns into belief. Yun sniffs and smells something bad. He saw a door and thinks that this smell is coming from that room. While Yun was busy with his own things, suddenly someone touched him and said, "Hey, dude!" Yun shouts out of fear, and he tries to take the bat out of the bag. But after knowing that it was the same boy who he is following has touched him, he controlled himself and said, "You scared the shit out of me, bro." Boy replied, "But you are the one who is following." Yun asked himself, how did this guy sneaks up on him? He was very careful. The boy asked Yun to leave the building for his safety. Yun was upset with himself because the boy came to him and he can't even notice. Yun speaks, "I know that something is off about this place. Smells like something died years ago." Boy tells Yun that the rotten smell was of human flesh and he needs to be quick before it gets dangerous for him. Yun asks with curiosity, "Human flesh?" After hearing Yun's loud voice, the boy tries to shush him by saying, "Dude, please keep it down. It is very vulnerable now, but if you keep making noise, we'll be at our most vulnerable." The boy warned Yun again and asked him to leave the building. Yun asked him, "Is that smelly thing a demon?" Boy turns and asks Yun, "How do you know about first hell entities?" Then the boy tells Yun that, "If I don't exorcism that thing, then it will become a demon." After hearing this from the boy, Yun told him his name and his story, that how a demon took his mother's life and destroyed his life. Yun asked him about exorcism. The boy explained him that the moment when you smell rotting flesh is an indication that they are about to transcend into a full demon, and after demonization is done, they must be put down. The boy tells Yun that you've witnessed these things by yourself, so I guess I won't break any rule by sharing info about hell entities. He unzips his bag and tells Yun he'll be taking part in ancient ritual very soon. Yun asks confusingly about ancient ritual. The boy replies, "It's a trial I have to go through in order to become a shinobi." Yun questioned him, "Can a shinobi do magic, and who is he?" Boy answers, "My name is Shin, and dude, it's not magic. A trained shinobi can manipulate tenchi." Shin takes out a box from his bag saying, "I'm not from here. I heard about a suspicious explosion in this area. Now my brother is investigating it." Shin laughs by saying, "My brother will be proud on me when he gets to know that his little brother has single-handedly saved a civilian. My brother will have no choice but to allow me take part in the trials of shinobi rituals." Yun heard him, so he asks Shin, "Haven't you exorcism a demon before?" Shin replies that he don't know how to manipulate a tenchi. He can't even see the first hell entities unless it possesses someone, and of course it is his first time to exorcism. He is aware of that enchanted musical instrument can break the hold. Yun asked him immediately, "So do you have any instrument now?" Shin answers him, "No, I have no instrument with me. Even if I did, I wouldn't know how to play." Yun becomes angry after hearing this from Shin. Because he has only some info about demons, he doesn't know how to tackle them. He doesn't even seen a demon before. Shin pulls nose plugs from his nose, which are making breathing difficult for him, and now after seeing nose plugs, Yun also understood that why smell wasn't bothering Shin. Shin sniffs and complains about the smell. After saying that he is getting late, Shin starts running toward the door where the smell was coming from and advises Yun to leave. Shin breaks down the door and found that room was empty. There was a paper stuck on the backside of door on which an ancient script was written. As room was breached by Shin, that paper starts burning. The scene now shifts to a samurai who discovers that the seal he had placed on that door has been broken. Shin has no clue about the seal of samurai. He enters in the room. A demonic presence can be seen on the room's ceiling, which Shin did not notice. Shin said to himself, "But the smell was coming from this room." While Shin was searching for the demonic creature inside the room, the demonic creature silently exited the room in waves through air. Yun was standing out of the room telling Shin to be careful. Shin shows his concern for Yun and tells him to leave the building. Shin knows he must find this creature as soon as possible or else it will grow more powerful. All of a sudden, Yun feels something above his head. Before Yun and Shin can figure out what's going on, a demonic woman appears standing right behind Yun. Yun senses the monster's presence and becomes frightened. Before he can do anything, the monster attacks him. When the demon is attacking, Shin suddenly appears in between, and he pushes away Yun to save him. By doing so, Shin saves Yun, but he is unable to protect himself from the demon's attack. Both of them fall down. Shin screams loudly in pain. Yun asks Shin if he was okay. Shin replied, "I'm fine." The demon begins walking toward them. Yun asks Shin to move faster, but Shin was badly injured, so he can't move that fast. Shin tries to crawl away and fails, but the demon gets to him and attacks. Before the demon can hurt Shin, Yun picks up his bat and tries to hit the demon. When the demon saw Yun attacking him, he made a shield out of his hair and blocked the attack. Yun's bat breaks while attacking. The demon angrily turns towards Yun and lifts him into the air with his hair tendrils. Yun tries to free himself from the demon's grasp. While Yun was doing this, drops of water falls on his face. He looks up. He noticed a rod sticking out of the broken ceiling. Yun tries to attack Dr. Demon with a rod from broken roof. Demon grabs Yun's hand with the tendrils of his hair. Yun tries a lot, but he is not able to even touch the demon. Demon laughs on Yun's misery. Then suddenly a large box starts falling on them from the broken roof. Yun sees it coming toward them. The demon loses his grip on Yun. Yun frees himself and jumps away from the demon. The box falls on Demon, and he gets crushed underneath it. Amidst all this, Yun gets the chance and he runs towards the injured Shin, picks him up and tells him to lean on him, and they both start leaving the place. Suddenly, the demon throws away the box and gets up and laughs. Seeing this, both Shin and Yun start to run. While running, Yun asks Shin that how he was planning to exorcism it if he doesn't have enchanting instrument. Shin replies that he didn't expect it to be this bad. Demon roars in rage as it sees the boys fleeing away. Demon uses his hair to tear apart the ceiling above them. They stop as they see pieces of broken stone falling from the ceiling. Yun says to himself, how can the demon stand up so quickly? The monster attacks them again, so the boys take off running again, saying that this thing is going to destroy this whole place. The monster starts running towards them and tries to grab them with his hair vines. Yun saw the monsters going to catch them. He grabbed Shin and leapt forward to avoid the attack. Both of them fall, and in all this, Shin's phone is thrown out and fall. The monster grabs Yun by his leg and lifts him into the air. Yun trembles in fear. Demon opens his head to eat Yun. Shin notices this and starts yelling loudly towards his phone. Neon! Play Go to Hell! A voice came from the phone saying he didn't understand what Shin asked him to play. Shin shouts again loudly. Play Go to Hell! Phone starts playing Go to Hell. Hearing the sound from the phone, Demon starts screaming in pain. In all this, the demon loses his grip on Yun, so he falls down. Shin came to Yun and told him that the enchanted sound is helping them, causing the demon to be in great pain, that it can move barely. Shin further tells Yun that his friend has ability to mimic the frequency of enchanted instrument, and that's how they are controlling Demon. As soon as boys get the chance, they both start running toward the exit door. Suddenly, a message about low battery comes on the phone, and the phone gets switched off. Shin tells Yun that his phone's GPS might have been left on, which caused his phone's battery to drain. Yun uses all his strength to open the exit door, but he didn't succeed. They noticed that the demon's hair was blocking the door from opening. They saw the demon running towards them. Seeing this, Shin says it is too late now. Suddenly, a protective shield forms around both of them, due to which the demon is unable to touch them. Then Shin saw his older brother standing behind the demon, doing his magical things to protect them. Shin's brother was the same samurai who had placed a seal in the ancient language on the door to the room the demon was locked in. The samurai asked Shin, "What are you doing here?" After hearing that the samurai is Shin's elder brother, Yun says, "Thank God, he can now save us now." The samurai uses his magical power and throws the blade at the door. The blade hits the door, weakening it and causing cracks in the door. The samurai told the boys to leave. Yun noticed cracks in the door and he broke it by kicking. He tells Shin, "Let's get out of here." Both of them leaves the room. Seeing this, the demon growls ferociously and turns towards the samurai. Demon tries to capture the samurai with the help of his hair vines. The samurai uses his magic spell and freezes the monster. The samurai standing one floor above jump down the broken ceiling. Yun and Shin come out of the room and stand behind a pillar. Standing there, Yun tells Shin that they are safe here and they can watch the battle between his brother and demon from there. Yun asked curiously if his brother could handle the monster. Shin replied that of course he can beat him, he is not like me. Suddenly the demon screams and frees himself from the freezing spell. Snow shattered and ice pieces starts to scatter in the air, and some of the snowflakes strikes the samurai. The samurai uses his power and directs the ice shards to attack the demon. Demon tries to block the ice shards coming towards him with his hair, but some of the shards pass through his body, and he gets injured, so he groans. When the demon is struggling from the previous attack of samurai, the samurai uses his powers again and attacks him with ice shards. The demon sees this, so he tries to make a shield out of his hair for his protection. But again, some pieces of ice penetrate his shield, injuring him again, making Demon screams in pain. In the midst of all this, the samurai takes advantage of the opportunity and jumps over the shield and tries to attack the monster. But this time, the demon uses his hair as blades and cuts the samurai who was coming towards him into pieces. Yun gets scared after seeing this. Snowflakes scatter in the air. After killing the samurai, the demon laughs terrifyingly. This frightens even Shin, who had previously been quite confident of his brother's abilities. All of a sudden, the samurai appears again, making it clear that earlier the samurai has created his own clone so he could distract the demon. Now the samurai jumps, does a backflip and lands a powerful kick on the monster's head, about which the monster has no clue. Seeing this, Yun gets excited and thinks he should learn this technique. The intensity of the kick was so high that this time the demon staggered and it starts bleeding from his mouth and nose. Yun, already impressed by the samurai's moves and powers, asking himself, how's that thing is still standing? Hearing this, the samurai looks at Yun and got distracted for a moment. Taking advantage of this moment, Demon grabs the samurai's leg with a lock of his hair and slams him into the ceiling. Before the samurai can realize what is happening, the demon begins hitting him with his hair tendrils. After regaining his strength, the samurai freezes the demon's tendrils of hair and charges toward him. Before the monster could understand anything, the samurai kneed him in the face. After hitting it with a knee, samurai tries to punch the monster, but this time Demon grabs his arm and screams aggressively. Samurai tries to free his hand from the demon's grip, but he is unable to do so because the demon's grip was very strong. The samurai thinks for a moment and then lands a hard kick to the demon's face. The kick sends the monster flying and crashing into the wall. The samurai walks towards the monster while casting some sort of spell with his hand. After Samurai's spell, Yun feels air is getting heavier around them. The demon who was badly injured screams loudly. Seeing this, Shin says, "It's almost finished gathering negative energy. If this doesn't end, it will become fully demonized." After hearing this from Shin, Yun says, "You're telling me she's not a full demon yet? She has fangs on her head, bro." Shin shouts to his brother, "She has very little time, brother." The samurai casts a spell by moving his hands, which creates a circle around the demon. This scares the demon. After rotating his hands, the samurai joins them and completes his spell. As the samurai gets into his final pose, large pieces of ice emerge from the ground and bind the monster. The ice blocks held the demon in such a way that it could not even move, but it was screaming. Yun is amazed at how incredible this samurai and his techniques are. After reaching the demon, the samurai looks into Demon's eyes and takes out his sword. He points the tip of his sword at the demon, and Demon growls. The samurai shakes his sword and says, "Devour." This spell begins to extract dark energies from the demon's body. Seeing this, Yun asks, "What is he doing?" Shin answers that, "This sword is his devourer. It is consuming the negative energy and imprisoning the evil entity." While Shin was explaining the procedure to Yun, negative energies were being released from the demon's body and entering into the sword, which was its devourer. This process continues for some time, due to which the demon keeps screaming. After a while, when all the negative energy comes out the demon, it transforms into a woman. Suddenly, with a loud explosion, all the ice pieces broke inside which the demon was imprisoned. The samurai sheaths the sword in which he had imprisoned all of the negative and dark energies. Yun exclaimed in surprise that how she had been transformed back into a human. In next scene, the girl who had fainted during the transformation, the samurai was holding her in his hands. Looking at her, he says that, "I had to hold back. I could still sense her humanity clinging on." Yun tells Shin that it would have been too bad if your brother hadn't shown up today. Reaching the boys, Samurai says to them, "Because of you two, my weeks of investigation got wasted." Shin says, "I thought you would be proud of me for saving someone from ghost possession, but yet you refuse to acknowledge me." He further added that, "You are always busy with your secret missions and other things of clan. I just wanted to prove myself that I'm capable to become a shinobi." After listening to his younger brother Samurai speaks that, "I kept that woman there so that whoever is committing these incidents can be identified." The seal on the room froze time, but breaking it destroyed my ability to freeze time. He further told Shin that she wasn't transforming any faster. Yun becomes enraged upon hearing this. and angrily tells the samurai that Shin risked his life to save him while he had no responsibility towards him. He also attempted to ease that woman's suffering while you left her there as a bait. Shin interrupted Yoon and said, "Thanks, friend. But be careful. He can kill both of us in the blink of an eye. Please don't cross your limits." After hearing their conversation, the samurai makes the girl lie down on the ground. After doing this, the samurai ran towards Yoon. It was so fast that Yoon couldn't even blink, and the samurai was standing right behind him. The samurai puts his hand on Yoon's shoulder, which faints him slowly. Now the scene is of the next morning begins. It is a very pleasant day, and the birds are chirping on the trees. Next morning, Yoon is sleeping with his head on the pillow and thinking about how comfortable the pillow is. Suddenly, the sound of a slap is heard. Yoon wakes up with a startle. The same woman who, the samurai transformed back into a human, was standing before Yoon. She called Yoon a bastard and slapped him as Yoon was hugging him like a pillow. Yoon says, "Sorry, lady, it's nothing like you think," and asks her if she remembers anything about last night. The woman angrily says, "Yesterday night. I am homeless for many days. Are you crazy, kid? And now will you please leave me alone?" Yoon tries to clam her down, but the woman gets agitated and says, "Go away, or I will call the police." After hearing her, Yoon thinks he's only making the situation worse. She doesn't remember anything about last night, how she was demonized, so he dashed from there. After running for some time, Yoon reaches his home, or we can say the old man's home, where he was living these days. Before entering, Yoon realizes that the old man asked him to open the shop while he goes to visit his doctor. Before Yoon opens the door, the old man opened the door himself and found Yoon was standing outside. Yoon gets nervous when he sees Oldie standing at the door. Yoon wonders why the old man is at home at this time. Is he back from visiting the doctor? Yoon says nervously, "I just went for a jog." The old man says that we had an agreement that you will open the shop when I go to meet my doctor. Suddenly, Oldman noticed Yoon's dirty clothes, so he asked him, "Were you running through the forest?" Yoon says, "I am sorry for being late, but it won't happen again." Saying this, he slips away from there. After talking to the old man, Yoon goes to take a bath. While taking a bath, Yoon's mind is still on what happened last night. He thought that these demonic things torture those people who are at the lowest point in their lives. While bathing, he feels pain in his ribs, which he got from the demon's attack. Yoon also feels bad that Shin and his brother left him and the woman there alone at night. What if those demon entities came back and possessed the girl again? He cannot save her because he is not even capable of saving himself. He feels that his months of training have been wasted, and he becomes upset upon learning this fact. Yoon tells himself that the way Shin's brother fought the demons, it reminds him so much of his mom. One thing he knows now is that the answers he was looking for, Shin and his brother knows them. Thinking all this, he completes his bath. After taking a bath, he comes to the shop and starts helping Oldie in his shop. While Yoon was working at the shop, the old man saw him yawning and realized that Yoon was very tired. So he asked him, "Do you want to rest?" Yoon replies that he is fine. The old man tells him that he has been behaving strangely for the past few days. He asks him if he is hiding something from him. Yoon got scared and thought that the old man knew that I took his baseball bat. While Yoon was thinking all this, the old man suddenly said, "Have you been secretly going out on dates?" Yoon angrily replied, "No, I'm not interested in relationships at all. I have other important things to do." The old man speaks softly that, "When you starts dating, let me know." Yoon asked, "Why do you want to know about my relationship?" The old man replied, "I can give you tips. I was a ladies' man at my age." Yoon laughs unrealistically and says, "Don't worry, I will definitely take your guidance when I'm ready." After their conversation, the scene shifts to their home, where Yoon was lying on his bed and thinking about how he trained himself for months, and when the right time came, he was not able to do anything. He knows he felt powerless when he faced the monster, just like when his mother sacrificed her life to save him. Yoon tells himself that he has to work hard so that he can keep things under control. Saying this to himself, he gets up and thought that he need to find Shin's brother to become a shinobi. While Yoon was thinking all this, the old man came into his room and said, "The food is ready. Please come to the hall and eat." Both of them go to the hall and eat together. Yoon praises the food. Oldie said, "I know this food is good. It is from the new restaurant." And he lit a cigarette and started smoking. Seeing this, Yoon says, "Smoking is not good for your health, old man. You should control it." The old man replied, "I know, but it has become a habit." I picked it up when my wife passed away and it helped me cope. Yoon looked at the photo of the old man's wife on the table and said, "She was very beautiful. You said she died of cancer." Hearing this, the old man tells Yoon that, honestly, she had cancer, but the cancer didn't kill her. She took her own life. When she found out that she had cancer, she would stay locked in her room all day long. I was so busy with running the shop, I didn't see what was happening. Yoon listens attentively, and the old man becomes emotional as he tells this. The old man tells his further story while crying. Everyone says that her cancer gave her depression, but I know it's more than that. I know who my wife was, and that wasn't her. Maybe if I wasn't so negligent, I could have done something. At this point, the old man could not control himself and started crying loudly. Yoon gets up and hugs the old man and says, "It is not your fault. You're the kindest and most caring person I have ever met." The old man thanks Yoon. After regaining his composure, the oldie further says that, "After my wife's death, me and my daughter relation only got worse. She blames me for her mother's death." Yoon asks, "So this is why she left you?" Oldman replies, "Yes. At first I thought she would forget all this and forgive me, but she didn't. It's been 4 months since we've seen each other. She won't even answer my calls. I tried several times, and now I have to find her an old-fashioned way." Having said this, old man looked at Yoon with hopeful eyes. In the next scene, we are shown Yoon standing in front of Sun Valley University with the address in his hand. After reaching the address given by Oldman, Yoon says to himself, "So this is Sun Valley University. Now I just need to ask around about her whereabouts." Yoon didn't even know what the oldie's daughter looked like, because he didn't have a photo of her in his house. While Yoon was thinking all this, a security guard looked at him and said, "Young man, you cannot go ahead. If you want to go in, you must have an ID or an invitation letter issued by the authorities of university." Yoon replied nervously, "Sir, I came here looking for someone I know." The security guard again said to Yoon, "I'm sorry, kid, but I can't let you in. These are the rules." Yoon says in disappointment, "Okay, sir, I can understand your situation." After saying this, he starts to leave the university. While going out, Yoon saw the university wall and thought that jumping over it would be a good option to get inside. Suddenly, Yoon's steps stopped when he saw the university van going inside the university. Yoon smiles that this is a good chance for him to get in and find out info about the old man's daughter. Yoon quietly hung onto the side of the truck that was not visible to the guards, without making any noise. Yoon also enters the university along with the truck. I hope you enjoy this video. If you guys want next episode, please do comments. After sneaking into the university building, Yoon goes to the reception and said to the lady at reception, "Ma'am, I'm looking for a lady named Yurini Tanaka. Her family is undergoing an emergency and they can't be able to reach her, so they send me." The receptionist checked her system and replied, "Excuse me, sir, but this student has not attended her classes for almost a month. She is also going to lose her living accommodation." Yoon asked her, is she talking about the same girl which he was searching for? The receptionist clears Yoon's doubts by telling him that Urini's father's name is Hideki Tanaka. Yoon nodded in confirmation. Lady at the desk further tells him that this is all the information she has about Urini. After knowing all this about Urini, Yoon starts wondering what might have happened to her. Suddenly, the CCTV camera pans towards Yoon while he is busy talking to the receptionist. A mysterious man was observing Yoon's movements and listening to his conversation with the lady at the reception. After gathering all the information about Urini available at the university, Yoon returns to the shop where Oldie was waiting for him. As soon as Oldie saw Yoon, he asked excitedly, "Have you found the Urini's university?" Yoon responded positively, saying it was a long journey, but he finally found the place. Hearing this, the old man asks, "Did you find her? Is she okay? What did she say?" Yoon hesitantly says, "Actually, I found her university, but I didn't have any ID card or invitation, so they didn't let me in. But I left a message for her at the desk. Hopefully she'll get back to me." Hearing this news about his daughter, Oldie gets sad, but somehow he controls his emotions and thanks Yoon for his efforts. Yoon also feels sorry for the old man, but there is nothing more he can do for him. After the conversation, Yoon returns to the home. At night, when he is alone in his room, the events of the day keep running through his mind that these things isn't feeling like a coincidence. Because at first, Oldie's wife then, the woman inside the tunnel, after that possessed lady in the building few days ago, and now Oldie's daughter's been missing. It might be possible that they're related to each other in some way. Yoon suddenly remembers that the samurai also said that someone was organizing these events. He gets up and tells himself it's time to do some work. His eyes light up thinking he has something exciting to do. So Yoon goes to the same building where the samurai perform an exorcism on the demon lady so that he can find some more information about the dark entities. After reaching the building, Yoon takes a deep breath and shouts loudly, "Hey, ugly demon, come out and face me. Your time is up. It seems that you don't have the guts to face me, and let me tell you one more thing that bald Shinobi is on to you. Hey, demon, you will be held accountable for all your deeds." Then Yoon picks up a rod lying nearby and hits it hard on the ground and starts shouting, "Shinobi alert! Shinobi alert!" He does all this for some time, but nothing happens. After trying to provoke the monster with his own methods for a while, Yoon felt that all his efforts were not working at all, so he stopped for a moment. But then Yoon hears the sound of someone jumping. The man who jumped was none other than Shin's brother, the bald Shinobi. The Shinobi asked Yoon, "Kid, what are you doing?" Yoon replies, "I was looking for the demon entity that only possesses women. I didn't find them, but you came." Upon hearing this, Shinobi asks the Yoon, "How did you know that the demon is only after girls?" Yoon says while showing off, "I just guessed, and you look pretty upset anyway, big brother. Sorry, but this was the only way to find you." The Shinobi replies, "You interrupted my mission by yelling and banging your stick. That's the only reason I came here. Now tell me, what do you want, kid?" Yoon tells the Shinobi that he needs his help finding a woman who was like a family to him, and that he also believes demons are behind in her disappearance. The Shinobi replied, "No, kid, I can't help you with that, as it's not part of my mission." Yoon raised his voice a little and said aggressively, "What kind of mission is this? People are being possessed and turned into monsters? Why don't you care about their lives?" Yoon's words have no effect on the Shinobi. He starts leaving from there, and while leaving, he says that this war between the Shinobi clan and the demons has been going on for thousands of years. Entire bloodlines have been wiped out, so don't tell me anything about lives, whether they matter to me or not. You are too young to understand this, kid. Yoon runs and stands in front of the Shinobi and angrily says the way your brother said about you, that you never do anything wrong. When I saw you doing exorcism for the first time, I also felt that you were a very nice person. If I had even half the strength you have, I would have saved my mother and she would have been alive today. But now I know what you are. If elder brothers are like this, then thank God I don't have an elder brother." Hearing this, the Shinobi grabs Yoon by the collar and lifts him into the air. He angrily says that I was just protecting my brother. "And this is what you do for your family." Yoon says fearfully that my mother was also thinking the same thing and was not telling me the truth. And now she's dead and I'm alone, powerless, can't do anything against these monsters. Upon hearing this, Shinobi says, "Wait, did your mother know about all these dark entities?" Yoon says, "I think my mother came from the same place as you and your brother." The Shinobi lets go of Yoon's collar and brings him back to the ground. Taking a deep breath, Yoon says, "Yes, my mother did tell me something about moon, empire, star, or something like that." Shinobi replied that it is the Crimson Star, fool. "Why didn't you tell me this earlier?" Yoon says, "I had forgotten, but now I am telling you." The Shinobi sighed and said, "Whatever, just don't interrupt my mission again. I won't listen to any of your excuses next time." While going, he asked Yoon about his name and the girl's name he was searching for. Yoon answers, "It's Yurini Tanaka, and my name is Yoon." Shinobi didn't even let Yoon finish his sentence. He flew away through the hole in the roof. As soon as Shinobi disappears from Yoon's sight, Yoon smiles and says, "Now I can easily find out where the Crimson Star is." In the next scene, Yoon was shown sitting in his room, searching for something on the computer. Yoon shows his creepy smile and says he should be at the Crimson Star Empire right now. "I'm only minutes away from finding the Shinobi's exact location, all thanks to the tracker I placed on him when he grabbed me. This is so much exciting." But suddenly the tracker location starts changing. Seeing the tracker's location constantly changing, Yun says, "How is this possible? It moves hundreds of miles in a second. I spent so much for this broken tracker." Suddenly, a kunai shatters Yun's window, rips through the curtain, hits the wall, and gets embedded in the wall. A piece of paper and a small pouch is attached to the kunai. Yun gets scared seeing this and thinks that maybe someone threw a kunai to kill him. But when his eyes fall on the paper and pouch stuck on the kunai, with excitement, he opens the pouch and found his tracker. When he opened the paper, he found a message saying Edo Bridge tomorrow at 12 p.m. Yun easily understood that the bald shinobi was doing this. Yun looks out the window and sees Shinobi standing on the street. The next morning, Yun took a taxi and left his house to the address the shinobi gave him, which was Edo Bridge. With the help of the phone map, he reaches the given address, but finds no trace of Edo Bridge there. The place where he left the taxi was a dense forest, so he tries to find the Edo Bridge. After searching for some time, he sees a sign that says Edo Bridge is ahead. He proceeds along the marked path. As he proceeds, the path turns into a staircase leading downwards. He descends the stairs and finds a torii gate at the bottom. He walks past the torii gate and sees a wooden bridge ahead. Yun reaches the wooden bridge but sees no one on the bridge. He takes out his phone and checks the time. After checking the time, he says, "I'm just a little late. That can't be the reason he's not here." Yun looks down from the bridge in search of Shinobi, hoping that he might be down there, but he doesn't see any person there. Yun sees from the bridge that there are many thick roots spreading out on the ground, covering the entire ground. Yun thinks there might be something exciting down below, so he jumps down instantly. There are lots of tree vines wrapped around the walls of the bridge, and he also finds a torii gate that is built right underneath the bridge. Looking at the torii gate, Yun wondered who could have built this thing here. It looked very old, and what could be its use here? While Yun was looking at the gate and assessing it, someone threw a red seed at him. The seed hits his head and falls down. Yun caresses his head and looks at the seed, wondering what it is. He has never seen anything like this before, because it appears like a very big shining pearl. Suddenly a voice says, "Step on it, kid." Yun turns towards the voice and says, "Shinobi, is that you?" The shinobi replies, "Don't waste your time, step on it." Yun says, Okay, don't be angry. If you have called me here for this, then I will do also his, only for your happiness." And eventually Yun steps on it. As Yun steps on the red seed, the entire ground suddenly glows red, and the roots of the trees surrounding him begin to move away from him. All the vines and roots of the trees start moving towards the torii gate. They cling to both pillars of the torii gate and cover the entire gate. Yun is shocked, unable to believe that his actions caused all of this, and feels it was nothing more than magic. Seeing Yun standing in confusion, Shinobi says, "Don't worry, this is a gateway." Yun asked in surprise, "Where does this entrance lead to?" Shinobi answers, "You wanted to know where I came from, where I live, what I do. I am sure that after entering this gateway, you will find answers to all your questions." Yun says fearfully, "It's true that I want to know about my mother and the Shinobi clan. Are you serious? Can this gateway give me all the answers I want to know?" The Shinobi tells Yun that I have thought about you very deeply. Since your mother was a Shinobi, that means you are one of us too. And one more thing, Shin has been dying to see you ever since he found out you're one of us. Then suddenly Yun remembers about Yurini Tanaka, so he asks if they are going to look for her. He thought that the Shinobi had some information about Yurini. That's why he called him there. Yun tells Shinobi that saving her is his priority. The Shinobi told Yun that so far, there is no evidence to show that demons are behind her disappearance. He has to investigate the case to find out the real culprit. Before that, he cannot come to any conclusion. Yun gets excited and tells the Shinobi, "Really, are you really going to find Yurini for me? Thank you so much, you are truly a hero for me." The Shinobi asks Yun one last time if he is going to step inside the gate, as his life will change completely after that. Yun says in full enthusiasm, "These are my roots. I know what I am doing. This is all I have to connect me to my mother. I have nowhere to go, so I'm willing to become a shinobi like you." After receiving confirmation from Yun that he is determined to enter the gateway, the shinobi turned the vines and roots of the tree towards Yun and tied him up with their help. Yun looks at the shinobi in surprise and anger, wondering what he is doing to him. But Shinobi does not respond to him. The shinobi uses his power, causing him and Yun to float through the air and move towards the Torii Gate. As they pass through the gateway, all the tree vines wrapped around Yun's body unwind and free him. He now floats freely in the air. Suddenly, a circular portal opens, and some kind force pulls Yun towards that portal. He flies towards the portal at a high speed. Yun comes flying out of the portal very fast and has no control over his body or the direction he's going. So he crashes into someone standing in his way. Both fall down after colliding. The person whom Yun bumped into said, "It is good to meet you again, bro." Yun realizes he has heard this voice somewhere before, so he turns toward the man. The person Yun bumped into was none other than Shin, the Shinobi's younger brother. Both are happy to see each other. But suddenly Yun vomits. Shin laughs and says, "I puked too when I first came here through that gateway." The Shinobi taunts Yun, saying, "You are weak, that is why you vomited." Yun replies, "Come on. I'm learning these things. This is also my first time. And don't forget, I'm just a kid, bro." Yun looked around and asked in surprise, "Where am I? What is this place?" Shin tells him, "It is the Crimson Star Empire." Yun feels proud, thinking that his mother belonged to such a great empire. Shin comes to Yun and puts his hand on Yun's shoulder and says, "It's great to know that you're one of us. My brother told me that you want to become a shinobi. The other hands also appreciates your efforts on how you found my brother." Yun asked curiously, "Other hands? Are there other people like your brother?" Shin replied, "Of course. There are 6 more like my brother who hold the title of Hand and represent their own clan within the Crimson Star Empire." After hearing this, Yun says there are 6 more superhumans like your brother. I can only imagine how scary they are. Yun asks Shin about his brother's name and turns back towards the shinobi, but Shinobi has already disappeared from there silently. Shin replies, "His is known as the Ice Hand and don't worry about him. Come on, I'll show you around." Now the scene shifts to Crimson Star Empire Council Hall. The door opens and the Ice Hand enters the hall. As Ice Hand is walking in, the Grand Hand standing in the middle of the council hall says, "You are late, Ice Hand, and there is no trace of the Shadow Hand, so this meeting has been called." The Ice Hand takes his place while all the other hands are already sitting on their chairs. The Grand Hand thanked everyone for gathering in such a short notice. He further tells that all of you were given specific mission, and in the same order Shadow Hand was also sent. But since last 48 hours, we have no update on Shadow Hand. Shinobi were sent to check up on him. We got a recording, and I thought that you all should listen to it. The Grand Hand plays the tape. A male voice can be heard on the tape saying, "I've found the rebel Shinobi's henchmen. It seems they are selling the remains of defeated demons to the Yakuza. Wait, there was 6 of them. Where is the other one gone?" The Ice Hand recognized that it was the voice of the Shadow Hand. Upon hearing this, the Fire Hand says that I have never heard the Shadow being so vulnerable. The Grand Hand tells the Fire Hand to be patient and asks him to listen further. The Shadow Hand voice from the tape says, "I just came out alive. It seems the demon's remains are being pulverized into liquid form. The Yakuza are inking it on their skin. It's giving them otherworldly abilities. This doesn't seem right." And then voices of demons start coming from the tape, and suddenly the tape stops. Grand Hand tells them that this tape is the last recording of the Shadow Hand. After this, we have no information about him. The Fire Hand angrily says, "Then what are we waiting for? Let's go and burn that traitor alive." Earth Hand wonders what would happen if Shadow dies. She says, "My dear friend, you will be missed." On the other hand, Ghost Hand says, "We all have a certain date of death. We all have to die, so what if today was Shadow Hand's time?" Atom Hand says, "He was careless. That's why he got caught. If you had sent me, I would have definitely succeeded. I am the most capable of all the hands here." Gravity Hand also shares his thoughts, saying that if a hand is defeated by a hired assassin, then this demon ink must be destroyed. After listening to everyone comfortably, Ice Hand asks Grand Hand, "What does the Empire expect from us?" The Grand Hand states that all hands are given the freedom to use their deadly powers outside of the Crimson Star Empire if they feel the need. Please be careful while going out, as you all are the last weapon of the Empire against any evil and demonic force. Earth Hand asks Grand Hand, "You said in the beginning that you sent some shinobi to find Shadow. Did they give you any updates about Shadow?" Grand Hand replied no. Now Grand Hand turns to Ice Hand asks, Are you hiding something from me? I know what happened, Ice replied. I scolded Shin. It won't happen again, the Grand Hand asked. Ice again. Is this Shin's decision or your order? You can't control your brother's fate. He's old enough to make decisions for himself. He is capable enough to enter in the Shinobi trials. You have actually put his life in danger by not preparing him for the dangers that lie ahead. Grand Hand goes on to say and explain to Ice that when you first came to me, you were the same age as Shin. 10 years ago, you asked me for training so that you could avenge your parents. What gives you right to take this from him? Your little brother tried exorcism using a phone recording and it worked. His new technique could be useful in upcoming battles. He is very talented. You should be proud of him and please reconsider your decision. Ice Hand replies, okay, I will think about it. The Grand Hand speaks again. One more thing, Ice, you should also train the boy you have brought here today. Ice responded to this by saying, I don't think the boy is capable of doing anything. He is weak. After hearing the conversation between the Grand Hand and Ice, Fire says, sorry, but the boy we laughed at for tracking down Ice, are we really going to recruit him? Earth Hand responded to Fire, respect the Grand Hand's decision, and that guy is one of us, and we need more talent like him in our side. The Grand Hand told the council that the Dark Blades would oversee their overall mission progress. It's time for Hands to supervise the advanced training of Shinobi recruits. This is the will of the heads. By saying this, he ended the council meeting. While Ice feels a little sad because he's not happy to train the boys. Thanks for watching and comment the best part of this video.